Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch, and welcome to the Spending Time podcast. I am joined by Rob Nudds. Hey Rob.
Hi, Rhett. Hi, how's it going?
It's going great. We're going to talk about OnlyWatch. OnlyWatch is one of the very few watch auctions that I feel comfortable talking about, and that is because the whole point of OnlyWatch is to have unique watches. It has changed. It is a every other year auction. Um, Traditionally held in Monaco. I think it might be held in Geneva now. It's done with Christie's. It has been done with other partners in the past. So you, Rob, I'm sure have heard of OnlyWatch. What are your thoughts on it before we sort of dive into the actually many, as you say? See, I've never seen the watches yet, so I'm using the show as my first look at them as well. So you've seen a lot of them, but what do you have to add about what OnlyWatch is and what your history with it has been?
Well, you're in for a treat to begin with. There's a lot to look at this year. So every couple of years since 2005, some of the best, biggest, most famous and creative brands in the industry have got together and created unique pieces to be auctioned off to support research into Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which is a congenital condition which affects 1 in 3,000 births.
Boy,
It's
tell us more. Tell us more.
Oh, don't be specific. Luckily, I know nobody with the condition, but I mean, it's something that does demand a great deal of attention, and it's nice that the industry is taking note of that. And
There was a family member, I believe, as part of the royal family in Monaco, or someone close to them that suffered from this. That's where the whole point of this charity was. I think what's
yeah,
interesting is that this auction was born when the watch industry was in a much more experimental mode. And what I'm trying to say is, even though this is a modern thing, it would not be created today. Would you agree?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it kind of it came to fruition in the perfect time for experimentation, and money was flying all over the place. People were happy to spend crazy sums on these unique pieces, and maybe in this particular auction that hasn't changed so much, but for the industry en masse, I think it now sticks out as a little bit more of an anomaly because of the times that we're living through.
So,
But it's a great thing to see, because this is a great example once every couple of years to see just what the major brands can do when they take the gloves off, as it were.
it's a spectacle, and the idea was that brands would, as you said, do something special, make a spectacle in order to impress people by creating a one-of-a-kind watch. The watches don't actually have to be one-of-a-kind. They can be the first in a series or
Hmm.
one-of-a-kind. So sometimes they're prototypes and like, oh, it's a one-of-a-kind one because so-and-so wore it. Richard Mille has been guilty of doing that more than once, which, okay. Um, for people that want to know more about it, it is in November, Sunday, November 9th, 2019, in
2 p.m.
Geneva. So it
Yep.
used to be in Monaco. It's now in Geneva, and the collection of watches are going to tour through various Christie's locations and some partners throughout the world. And it goes actually not as many tours this year. I think it went to Los Angeles before. Its only stop in the U.S. is in New York, actually, for 2 days. So this from I guess September to November, it tours around in Monaco, Dubai, Paris, London, New York, Tokyo, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taipei, and then Geneva, and then they're sold off. I take the results with a grain of salt. I would not say that the results indicate actual market value. I think it's very important for me to say that because auctions in general represent what one person at one moment is willing to buy. You don't know behind the scenes what's going on, who's actually paying for it. It's all anonymous. So auctions are fantastic spectacles or like circuses, but like a performance, sometimes the auction results represent a highly curated event, not an organic market demand. So,
Oh yeah. And also, I mean, you've got this altruistic aspect of it, which is going to inflate the purchase price considerably. Someone is going to be a lot happier spending 5, 6 figures on a watch that gives them the warm, fuzzy feeling inside of having done something good than somebody then buying it again on the aftermarket. I think that makes a big difference. It would for me anyway.
So there are a lot of watches here. So I'm looking at the Acrivia one here. We're not going to spend a lot of time. Rexhep from Acrivia, who is a watchmaker I have a lot of respect for, makes beautiful stuff. I've seen substantially similar watches to this one. It's lovely. It's nice. It's platinum. I think people should go to the OnlyWatch website to see these things. So I'm looking at myself for the first time. I have a lot of watches to look through, so I'm just sort of going to spend my time going through these very quickly. And some of them are boring. If they're boring, I'm just not going to talk about too much. Anderson Geneve, he has sort of this existing watch, which is cool. You look at the time on the side of the case. It's got this cliche painting. It's probably very high quality engraving work. It's beautiful, but it's this view of Geneva, and there's the jet, from the lake. I don't know. You've seen this thing 8,000 times. You've seen it, enough times, right? I don't know. It's a love. I'm sure it's lovely, but I'm sick of these watches or homages to Geneva. Okay, so Armin Strom has a unique version of their Pure Resonance with a blue offset subdial and sort of this Cote de Genève decoration and a light blue. I guess light blue is the theme color this year. OnlyWatch has a theme color each year. What is this? What would you call this? A powder sky blue, Rob? What kind of color is this?
I mean, yeah, powder sky blue is a perfectly adequate description of it. I've just been calling it sky blue or light blue. I didn't want to get into it too much. I believe Hermes described the lining of the strap they've used as Zephyr blue.
That sounds like an Hermes thing to do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's anything to do with cool breezes, like light air, sky, fine. It's a quaint color. It's been making its way into watchmaking a little bit more over the last couple of years. I'm not sure whether it really...
Hey everyone, the watch industry discovered a new shade of blue. Clap your hands, pull out your wallets. It's time for light blue.
It's true, I've seen it used in some strange places, quite liberally on dials entirely rather than just an accent color, and it can be quite shocking. I suppose it does its job in the short term, but for me, I'm not sure it really evokes the level of luxury that a darker, richer blue would. But at least here, it's been used sparingly on the Arm & Strom, just with a subdial. Although that does seem to be like the main modification they've made to.
Right. I'm looking now at the Arnold & Son when I've moved on. This is the DSTB OnlyWatch, and they've got a new little shtick here, where at the end of one of the exposed mechanisms on the dial, they will custom make for whoever buys this the sort of end. And this little piece here, it's difficult to sort of explain what it's attached to, because this is a dead second watch, so it ticks. It's a mechanical watch that ticks, so this is part of that mechanism. And it kind of vibrates. It's a very strange thing. So it's a black watch. It's got that light powder blue accent. Very little. It's a nice watch. It was never one of the brand's biggest sellers, but it's an interesting watch.
I mean, I don't know about you, but this little counterpoise stick with the customizable motif on it just reminds me of a charm bracelet. It could be anything. You've got some...
Yeah, it is. What you can use your imagination. What would Rob engrave, or what would Rob have made with one of those laser etching machines?
I don't know. Probably football or something like that.
Football.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have a charm bracelet, so what can I say? Maybe I should invest in one, but I guess that would be the first thing I'd buy.
Okay, moving on. Speaking of charm bracelets, the Artia Son of Earth Precious Butterfly.
Absolutely wins the naming contest, hands down.
So the Son of Earth collection has been something that we've seen from Artia for a while. Here we have one with a engraved gold bezel, a butterfly wing dial, a pretty nice automatic movement with movement. I think they make their own now. So this is, I think, its own movement, or partially their own movement, or an exclusive movement. Yeah, they say they're exclusive. They're Aeon automatic. It's cool. Okay. I mean, look, you know what? I got to give it to Artia. It's still a statement on the wrist, and their cases have gotten better. The movements have gotten better incrementally. Ivan Arpa has done impressive stuff.
I mean, I genuinely like it. I don't know why. It kind of flies in the face of a lot of things that I would normally go for, but I think the color is beautiful. And if that dial is inspired by the light blue, then that's a better way to take that inspiration and run with
Yeah,
it.
it feels good. Okay, moving on to Atelier de Monaco. This is the Tourbillon Oculus 1297 OnlyWatch. Here we have an existing watch, which is a cool watch with a case that appears to be, what is this, carbon and gold mixture?
Yeah, some kind of
Oh yeah,
marble.
it's a mix of a marbling of 18 karat gold and carbon fiber with an ultralight titanium core. I mean, this is I don't this you can't wear this watch every day, but it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I could do without the open heart view of a tourbillon. Not bothered about that at all. But
Look at the sapphire bridge. It's got a sapphire bridge. How do you say no to a sapphire bridge?
Quite easily, I think. The the case is truly awesome. It looks like something from the future. Buckle sweep. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'll certainly wear it if somebody wants to donate it to me. But it's estimated hammer price is $50,000 to $70,000 US. So probably a little bit out of my price range.
Audemars Piguet. Code 1159 Tourbillon Openworked OnlyWatch Edition. Okay, well it is a two-tone version of their Code 11. This is a Code 1159 case. This is probably one of the more interesting executions of the case that I've seen.
Yeah, this is cool. I really like this. I was quite a fan of the Code 11 cases when they came out anyway, but I think this is a much better thing to do with the dial. I thought the dials that came out in Basel were maybe a little bit flat in comparison to the intrigue.
Let's not talk about the the Code 1159 launch dials, if you will.
Okay, separate podcast dedicated entirely.
Yeah, this is a nice watch. This is a nice watch. Okay, moving on. Bell and Ross, what do we got? What do we got?
Nah, this is nothing. Unless my website is.
Oh, it hasn't been released yet. Oh.
The only one of the.
It's the only one. All right, sorry, Bell and Ross.
I have no idea. I searched for it all over the place. If anyone's seen it, then let us know. Let us know what it looks like.
Blancpain, the 50,000 Barracuda, which is basically a vintage-looking 50,000 style, which of course the hour markers and the accenting is in that blue. It's lovely.
It's
look,
nice.
I love the 50,000s. The quality's great. I can only see so many vintage divers in a year. After about 800 vintage divers a year, I can't see anymore.
You know, it's a shame with the Barracuda, because I really loved the one they released recently with the red and vintage radium style loom markers, but they dropped the original bezel, right? There used to be the 360-degree hash marks around the outside of the bezel, and that really distinguished it from the core 50,000. It's a shame they didn't do that here. That would have been cool. Like, this blue is nice. It's a dainty little diver.
It's one watch. It's one. They made one. Everyone needs to remember this is one watch. This used to be an experiment bed. Boucheron still making watches, at least one. The Ajouri Amvara. It's a ladies' watch.
Is it?
You see a lot of two-tone. Yeah, it's a snake. And made out of gold and diamonds and like a little off-center dial. It's, you know, it focuses on the figure 8 theme. It's, well, we know what country they want to sell this watch in.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a nice jewelry watch. It's, you know.
Yeah.
Moving on. Beauvais. What do we got, Beauvais? Recital 23, another ladies' watch with
some kind of fairy.
Is that a fairy? Did they have a harp? Is it a bow and arrow?
I think that those hands are the classic hands that align once an hour to make a love heart when they cross over. Very cute. I think she's just cradling a star in her hands, and it looks, I guess it's an aventurine background there. It's pretty nice.
It's the Recital 23, which is, look, if you want a distinctive looking women's watch with a moon phase that's pretty interesting, it's the way to go.
Yeah, right. It's one of the best. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Breguet. Oh yeah, they got a vintage-looking pilot. It's the Type 20 OnlyWatch 2019. I think they've done Type 20s before. It is 38. Oh, some people are rejoicing. A 38.3 millimeter wide, vintage style Type 20 pilot watch. It's some people are gonna love it. The colors are nice. I'm sure the quality is fantastic. It's meant to look like an old watch, so it has an aged dial and lume, which some people are gonna call as a Fotina, which is not what everybody wants from Breguet. But it's nice, and someone will love it. It's a nice watch. Is it in steel? Okay, it's in steel. What do you think,
Yeah.
Bob? Expensive though. You see the price there?
Yeah, I see the price estimated 35 to 50 US. 50,000 that is. Yeah, just to be clear.
What's going on there with that? Why is that so much?
I mean, it's Breguet. It's steel. That's attractive. The sizing is beautiful.
Just
You know,
hold on. Your normal Type 21 in steel with a bracelet with a chronograph is about 15,000, 13 to 15,000. Well, I'm just curious. Why is this one? This has a manually wound.
It's Breguet. There's a huge collector's market for Breguet. That of all these brands, it's got to be one of the top 5 in terms of.
All I'm saying is that it's interesting to look at how these things are priced. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the brands, when it comes to unique pieces, do have a much larger collector's premium attached, I think. And I would say Breguet is definitely one of the main players in that regard. I mean, Patek's going to be right up there alongside it, and maybe Audemars Piguet as well. For me, this one is a nice watch. I'm not struck on brown at all. I like Fotina, if you like, on the lume. I just cool color. I don't care whether it's seen as disingenuous or not. I think it's a great color that matches nicely with a lot of different dial backgrounds. But this one for me is just a bit.
$50,000, cool. Well, look again. We know that these are all going to sell, right? These are all going to have very, very happy wrist homes.
Oh yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Carla Bouquerer, a version of their Scuba Tech with blue and black. Looks like it's a fun-looking dial. It's based upon their Manta Trust Association. So you got mantas on the front and the back. What else is special about? Oh, I see. That's cool. So it's a combination of white gold and titanium. So you can see a lot of white. I don't know if they have a gold version. White gold and titanium diver. Yeah, it's kind of like an FU diver because it's like it's doesn't need to be white gold, but it is.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about it. You see, I like the standard Scuba Tech, and I love manta rays, even though I'm not sure they should be emblazoned all over a watch. But one of my favorite animals, and I do like dive watches, but I don't want a white gold dive watch. And it's cool, to look at.
It's going to be the white gold dive watch of the year.
Okay. Well, I'm sure whoever wants to buy it will be incredibly happy with it.
It's pretty. I actually like the colors a lot. The blue and black is a nice thing.
Yeah, it's good, but for me, if it was steel and half the price.
Chanel has got some new J12s, a pair, a black one and a white one that are matte. Is it that they don't do other matte ones right now? These are women's watches. It's got their new movement.
I think that's what distinguishes them. I was trying to find the difference, and that was the only thing that I could see that was novel.
Well, okay.
I do like the movements. The movements are very nice.
Yeah, they're nice. Christophe Claret, the Maestro Corel? What does that say? What are those? Is those more snakes?
Corel?
Is that a snake? I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Coral snake. Coral.
Oh, right.
It's coral. Maybe in French. So it's the watch that has nothing to do with snakes that is now inspired by a snake. In a different shade of blue. The colors are pretty. I don't know. I mean, a man who lives in the jungle but also has a very fancy home would wear this watch. If you can afford to have a fancy home in the jungle in South America, there's no other watch for you.
Well, I mean, it's a good job it's a unique piece because there probably is just one guy. I don't know his name. I don't know what he's into. Hopefully,
his name is Coral, obviously.
His name is Coral. Okay,
they've already made the watch for him. Everyone knows who he is. He knows what to bid.
Demographic researching. They literally zeroed in on their one customer and made a watch especially for him. Let's hope he turns up in Geneva in November.
Well, it's very nice. Very serious. What do we got here? The Klepsis Alarm, which is an interesting movement that they actually put in a couple of Hublot watches with green. Nothing to do with the blue. Kind of a military green. It's cool, I guess. It's What I like about this is that this alarm has a chiming mechanism, which I've always said is an excellent way to have an alarm. So it's not the first one, but it's very rare. Patek Philippe came out with an alarm that does this year, and that is when the alarm goes off, rather than having this annoying, vibrating sound, it's just a gong hitting a hammer hitting a gong.
I think this one's sweet. I really do. I kind of go back and forth on Cyrus a little bit. I love the idea behind the symmetry in a case. It's something that I always wanted to see done well, done better than it often is, and I think they really have smashed it with this one. But the green, yeah, it's not the only watch in this collection that uses green and red. And I was digging around trying to find out where they've got that from, and I think we're going to see from Louis Vuitton and Constantine Jekin also like a similar colorway. Why? Still don't know, but if we find out,
giving it away. I already know. I know why they're doing it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the trend police say that color green is the next blue. Because the brand's always trying to figure out what's the color people are going to want to buy. They still think that the watch industry cares about trendy colors. Just come out with all nice colors all the time.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. Just stick with nice colors. Stop trying to be too clever about it. But what I mean is, I've seen green watches from so many brands over the last few years, as we all have, as they try and find this replacement for blue. But why not?
Because the freaking Rolex Submariner green, the Hulk. That's why it is. It's the only reason why it is. People are like, oh, this green watch is in demand. Maybe we should do one. Everyone's like, I hear this green watch is hard to get, and if you have a green watch, it's like, oh, I heard something special, was going on with the green watches. It's just this funny collector mentality. Green watches are nice. They were nice today. They were nice yesterday. They were nice tomorrow. There's nothing very special now about green.
Yeah, I just don't get why they would release green at this point, such an obvious green, when you've got a color
because
theme.
They feel like the green wave is about to start. They want to be like, oh look, we were before the trend. We did one for OnlyWatch. If
they think the green wave is about to start, then they've had their head in the sand for the last 2 years. I mean, what are they doing?
We're talking about the Swiss watch industry. Chapek and C. Faubourg de Cravoy. It's a lovely looking watch. I can't pronounce it. I love this movement. I'm a big fan of this particular watch. Of course, they have different executions of it. This one very much respects the theme. With two big chronograph subdials that have the blue and another shade of blue. This watch appears to be legible, which is great, and it has a nice 5 Hz chronograph movement, automatic chronograph movement, which is this is a fantastic movement, very cool looking. So this is a nice watch. I definitely think this is one of the nicer ones.
This one definitely gets in the top 10 without a doubt. I wrote a review of it yesterday, digging into the dial especially because it's actually made of onyx and chalcedony, which is actually onyx is a type of chalcedony. Very confusing, definitions of stones related to one another, but the marriage of them on the dial looks great, and like you say, legibility is top here, and I think it's a really nice execution of what is fast.
We'll split it, and you can wear it every other week.
So that's going to be at minimum, say around 12,000 US each. Okay, fine.
Here we go. A drawing, Debentune times Orwork. Oh boy!
Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting.
Boy. Is it?
Oh yeah, because they haven't even got a picture of it yet, so who knows what we're going to get.
When was the last time we had this? I feel like this is not the first time that Orwork has just come up with a drawing. I mean, this isn't even a 3D rendering. This is like, Felix sat down and was like, okay, so I'm going to call it the UR Bethune, and it's going to be the number 1. And here's a drawing. Here's we're going to read the time, and here's some stuff. Here's the moon phase.
I think it looks like a school project when someone said, just go and find 2 things and merge them together. And yeah, you've got the floating lights of Dibbertune, you've got the case shape and the crystal of Urva, you've got the moon phase. It's just, I don't know, I find it really, really charmingly innocent in a way, and I think it looks
Here's the thing. We know the end results can be great, but they're going to deliver way after the fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I mean, they're just they literally don't care. They just drew in their entrance. They're like, oh, here's a stick figure drawing of my watch.
At least it'll get you some time to get the 140,000 to 180,000 US dollars estimate
Hey,
together.
that's $180,000 piece of paper right there. Okay, you can take that to Urwerk,
That's
and
money.
that's basically a contract to finish the watch at some point in the next 27 years.
I like it.
DeWitt Academia Slide Only Watch. The Academia Slide is a new watch they released kind of under the radar, and then they have this very cool version that looks like it exists in a Batman movie. I don't know why, but this looks like something out of a Batman movie.
Yeah, for me, this is actually a really big success because I'm not a huge fan of the slides normally. I like the mechanism, but I'm a bit underwhelmed by the aesthetic. But this one really takes that blue, pairing it with the red as well. Smart move.
Do you like the time toboggan?
I do like
That's
the
the thing.
time.
The time
The technical.
toboggan. So the
The
sliding
time.
hour marker is a toboggan.
It's also the perfect Houston Oilers tribute watch. So any Texan oil man that wants to buy into a bit of sporting history can pick this up. Perfect. I love it.
Maybe he will. So what do they want? What do they want for this thing? 60 to 80,000. You know what? I hope they get 49 millimeters wide, titanium. This is cool. I want to wear this watch. I hope this comes on a bracelet like it kind of looks like it does. Okay, moving on. Are we even halfway through? Damn.
We're about that. Yeah,
We're like
about.
about halfway through. The Fabergé Winter. This is a ladies' watch that uses this retrograde complication. This
That's
is.
super fun.
It's nice. It's very nice. You see how they did the screws in a different kind of blue. So they blued screws that are blued to look like this sort of more pale blue. I guess they're painted or something. I'm not sure how they achieved
Oh
that.
no. If you I mean, normal blued screws, you get that from around 280 degrees Celsius, so about 565 degrees Fahrenheit. If you go beyond that to around 300 to 310 Celsius, not sure what the conversion to Fahrenheit is off the top of my head, but you get a cornflower blue. It goes lighter before it goes back to steel. So that's kind of the last chromatic oxidization you can get from heating steel. And so it's nice.
Is it just me, or are there two watches here and I'm confused?
Oh, cool. Look at it carefully because the one on the left has got the retrograde fan for the minutes fully extended, and the one on the right has got it only halfway through.
Oh, you know what
So
it
what's
is?
that?
It's the blue stones, because one of them does not emphasize the blue stones on the bezel.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, but
And
also
they have
you've got
different
this.
straps.
Oh, so they do. Yeah. What's the one on the right? Is that snake or lizard? Pretty
Maybe it's
tasty.
like a ostrich?
No, it's not an ostrich, unless it's a very spotty ostrich. It's too spotty for an ostrich.
And that's all we're going to say about Fabergé.
It's pretty cool. This one's pretty cool. You've got the hours like around the outside ticking separately, and then the retrograde minutes in the middle. Yeah, I like it.
It's cool. Ferdinand Berthoud has the Chronometer FB1 Night Star. This is a sort of all gray, very kind of industrial looking. I'm trying to see what material is it. Ooh, anthracite ceramized titanium. So it's titanium that has I guess a ceramic coating on top of it. Interesting.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
It's
It's
cool.
beautiful. I mean, I had it in my top three. I made a quick list of like what I thought was really stand out, and this one, following on from the FB 1.1 from Baselworld, is just another home run for me. I think it's just sublime. I finally get it. It took me years to get this case shape. I know it's inspired by the marine chronometers that Berthold made in his lifetime.
When you put it on, it's like, wow, this is a great case shape once you put it on. Great case shape.
Exactly. As soon as I got it on my wrist, I was just blown away, and I just think there's
This is a
so much
nearly
beauty.
$200,000 watch. I mean, so this is this is super dream territory. But it's, I mean, it's okay. We like this one. Ferdinand Berthoud really did a nice job. FP Jorn has done a prototype movement with unique case and dial developed for OnlyWatch. It's called the Astronomic Blue. Well, we got some interesting here. Well, he's gone a little nuts here. He's clearly working on something big. So we've got all
Time to
kinds
look.
of stuff. He's selling the
Time to look.
prototype, so if it doesn't work, guess what? You can't complain. I'm I mean, this is going to be some incredibly impressive FP Journe. This one, you know, we definitely gotta write about. Rob, you're on that. This is, I mean,
Yeah.
this is interesting. I mean, here's what I like about it. You're not seeing new complications. Maybe a little bit of new stuff here, but what he's really done is he's been inspired by the old, massively complicated clocks that Mr. Jordan likes, and he's tried to do as much as possible to elegantly integrate these. And it's I think how he combines this sort of old look with a modern sense. It's done really well. This is, I mean, you know, this is probably FP Journe almost at his best right here.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly takes an ambitious remit and runs with it. And like you said, the fusion of the old and the new is weirdly effective. I've been looking at it for a long time, and I'm still not sure what I'm seeing. I mean, I understand the complications, but as an overall piece, I mean, it's just weird. It's got so much going on, and yet it looks like a trendy sports watch
I mean,
at first glance.
is it a minute repeater as well? Because it's got a slider on it.
Yeah, it's a minute repeater. It's got all sorts. I mean, it's crazy the level
It's a
he's gone
minute
to.
repeater astronomical watch that
There's
has
tourbillon, annual calendar, twin barrels, equation of time on the back. I mean,
it's
day
pretty
night.
crazy.
It's yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But then the estimate reflects it. I mean, this one's reckoned to go for around 300 to 600,000.
This could easily beat that because this is such a wild movement. No one can do stuff like this. Anyways, FP Journe astronomic blue.
Typically awesome. Yeah.
Frédéric Constant is a version of their tourbillon perpetual calendar that has been open worked with, what is that blue dial? I don't know what that is.
Meteorite. Meteorite.
Oh, blue meteorite dial in the gold
Yeah.
case.
I mean, good fusion of colors, but not the right blue. Should have gone for that baby
It's a
blue.
pretty heavy duty Frédéric Constant. I mean, it's, you know, like, I like this brand when they do quirky stuff. When they try to do too high end, it's like that's not what I think about when I think of Frédéric Constant. So it's difficult for me to associate. But it's a nice watch, and it's well done. I think it's cool.
Oh, it's handsome enough. Yeah, I think. I mean, for the occasion, it's perfectly appropriate. 32,000 to 36,000. It's a lot for a Frederick Constant, but I mean, it is only watch, so you
Moving
know.
on, Girard Perregaux, a Laureato Absolute chronograph for OnlyWatch. I really like the new Laureato Absolute chronograph. When we saw it at SIHH, I was really excited about it. This one has that blue color on the dial, on the strap. This is lovely. You know, this could be
Yeah,
a production model easily.
yeah, I think this is a real success because I do like the core model as well. I was impressed with that when it came out, and this is just it follows a script. It's used the blue, it's used it sparingly, but effectively, yeah,
It's got
it's
that
going to sell.
yeah, so it's a titanium case. It would be great if it was ceramic, but it's a PVD titanium case. This is a nice watch, and I don't think it'll do well. Moving on, Gronfeld.
Yay!
Yeah, okay. This is the Gronfeld
Yay!
1941 Remontoir. This is a particular type of accuracy mechanism that attempts to create consistency over time. It has a cool way of being visualized, so you see movement in animation on the dial, which is why I think I like it. Rob, you're really excited about this watch, which does have an ostrich strap. This time it does.
Yes, it does. Yes.
What is it that you're so passionate about here?
Well, I mean, the movement itself is superb. We've seen it. We've seen it before in a couple of previous models, and if you haven't seen the Remonteur functioning, then do go on YouTube and check it out. Have a look at it in real life because it is quite fascinating. It's a nice, neat alternative. I think it's a space-efficient alternative to something like a Fusee. It's a bit more modern. I think Grunfeld have really just hit their stride now. They have this very definite aesthetic. The cases are gorgeous. The finishing is second to none, in my opinion. They have a great identity. And these frosted dials, this is what I'm so excited about. When you get a different color, and it's such a tasteful color that could be, you know, married with any kind of outfit, I love it. I love it completely. And I do love an ostrich strap. And this is a nice ostrich strap. Really, really nicely finished with big
It's a
ostrich.
very handsome watch indeed. H.
It's
Moser
gorgeous.
and C. Endeavor Perpetual Moon Concept Only Watch. I mean, it's lovely. It's a gold version of their clean dial that has nothing on it but the hands and the moon phase. A red
Yeah,
colored bridge on the rear of the watch. I don't really know what's so special about this. It's not, oh, it's a Vanta black one. So
Vanna Black. That's it.
it's gonna be crazy black. It's a nice watch, but I don't think that's gonna be as impressive until you see it in
Right.
person.
It won't come alive until you see it on the wrist. I don't know why they went for red bridge when they could easily have just gone for the blue, but I'm sure there's some justification for it. Yeah.
Hermes has a unique version of the Arceau l'Hour de la Lune. This is a version of a new watch that came out at SIHH. It has a moon phase indicator and two dials that move around constantly, which is really cool, and those tell the time and the date. So this one has the meteorite dial. It has what's the case material here? Is it steel? Does it say? I feel like it doesn't say that. Okay.
It's
Oh, it's
white
white
gold.
gold.
White
Okay,
gold.
so it's a white gold. It's lovely. It's very nice. It doesn't break new ground anywhere, but it's nice. It does the theme well. You know,
I think
Hermes.
it's fantastic. I love it. I thought it was one of the best releases that we've had this year, and
It's a good
I'm
watch.
not.
Yeah.
I think I maybe prefer the aventurine one slightly, and the light blue accents are not really my cup of tea. But I think it's superb. I can't say enough for it. I think it's great. I love it when they figure out a decent way to display moon phase information that's like visually engaging as well as aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, I think I put it as number 7 on my list, just for
So
rank.
Hublot came out with, I guess it's a ladies version. This is a pretty cool watch actually. The Classic Fusion Tourbillon Sapphire Orlinsky for OnlyWatch. So this is their Orlinsky case with the Orlinsky bezel and the Dauphine hands and a pretty interestingly designed skeletonized movement. It's tourbillon. It has blue sapphires in the bezel and that sort of aquamarine colored strap. I guess it's a 45 millimeter wide case. It's very feminine in the colors, but it's masculine in the size. If you have the right personality and outfit, you can pull this off. I think this is cool. It's definitely not for everyone. It's a cool watch.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I think the only thing that feminizes it maybe a step too far is the strap. I don't think there's anything too wrong with those diamonds around the outside.
But it does have like a Tiffany blue strap.
It is a Tiffany blue strap, and even the material doesn't really like speak to me too much. But I think it's cool. I think yeah, like you say, if you've got the right sort of larger than life personality, that would go for an all
Put an
sapphire watch.
ostrich strap, blue ostrich strap. You heard it from me.
Sold. I'll take it. Yeah, give me an
Jacob and
ostrich.
Company. Let's see what we got going on here. The Jacob and Company Epic X Chrono Messi. So it's okay. It's with Messi and it's white and it's a different color blue. It's okay. It looks very
Yeah.
video game inspired.
I mean, the most interesting thing about this for me is how much like an elf Messi looks like directly on. I mean, how pointy are his ears? I never noticed that before. Bizarre. But yeah, the watch is fine, like a video game, like you say.
It's like a jewelry toy. It's so weird.
It looks like something that I'd expect to see in like some anime or something like that, just exploding with like lights flash out of it and
Yeah, like the
transform.
diamonds don't even, or the precious stones don't. They don't seem to serve the purpose of the blue sapphires. I mean, the bezel's white gold, but it looks like it's it's a crazy contradiction. It's a good story. I'll put it that way. It's a good story on the wrist right there.
I'm just not,
Gilbert,
Oh yeah, yeah.
we're moving on. Master Ultra Thin Perpetual Enamel Chestnut. Okay, it is
More brown.
their ultra thin master perpetual calendar with a brown enamel dial that has been guilloche engraved before that, so it's got a nice sort of sunray, deep sunray look to it. It's nice. It's if you really want this type of watch with a brown dial, well, here you go. Brown guilloche dial, chestnut brown guilloche dials. Here we come, 2020. Moving on.
Yep.
Well, we have 4 more lines. That's incredible. We still have, wow,
20.
20
We're going.
watches to go. 20 watches to go. Jacques Dro Grand Second Skeleton 1 ceramic. Skeletonized ceramic. It's cool. Not legible,
Cool.
but it's cool.
Not what I think of for Jacques Draw at all, but it's cool. Yeah, as a watch, fine. Not something that really speaks to me too much.
See, I get excited when I don't just see new colors. When I see a new watch, like this event, OnlyWatch used to have like brand new cases, parts. They're so scared to do anything different. They're like, I mean, they have nothing to lose. Why not like drill some new holes and make a slightly new bezel? You know, like take the one they have and just etch it up or do something. But they play it so safe.
Yeah, it is a shame sometimes. I mean, it's a nice looking watch, but
Okay,
yeah,
Ken's
they
looking
could.
Joker selfie.
So this is actually
Selfie
pretty
him.
interesting. Okay, so we're getting used to the Joker now becoming like a core part of his range and probably the most recognizable watch that he's got. This one he actually has like done some new work on the movement itself. If you look at the left eye, you see that it's got like a serrated ring around it, which is supposed to
Be a loop.
recall his loop. Yeah, but in addition to that, when you turn the watch on its side, that eye closes, and through it you can see. Little emojis like which I think is supposed to represent maybe the date. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. And then you turn it back up vertically and the eye opens again. And I have no idea how he's done it. And I really would like to get my hands on it. Again, you see like the olive green and red on the eyes, which I suppose is supposed to mirror his own eyes. Has he got red eyes?
It's not just any steel. It's Bulat steel, which is some type of
Yeah.
interesting steel.
I think he used it on the Lunacod like years ago, didn't he? Like it looks kind of like
Maybe.
bit like Damascus. Like Damascus and Meteorite had a weird baby. Like
I mean,
it's
if
that
you
kind of stuff.
wanted a Joker that tries to mimic a man's facial hair, this is the one to get.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's got a beard. I didn't even see that. Oh, that's cute. All right. Okay, it makes more
All
sense
right,
to me now.
I hope this one does real well. That's really great. Very creative.
I
Always
think
creative.
it's a
We,
top
we love that. We love that.
great. Yeah.
Louis Monet. Wow, they're still
Uh,
making this watch, huh?
apparently.
The
Um,
Momaris OnlyWatch. Yeah, it's got blue stuff on there. Moving on.
nice rotor. I'll give it that.
Sure. Louis
I,
Vuitton. Oh, this is neat.
yeah,
The
it's nice.
Escale Spin Time. So they've done these for OnlyWatch before. It comes with a Louis Vuitton trunk. Imagine that. And there's a Louis Vuitton motif with a rose. I don't know that I've seen that before. And then does the hand, does it look like what is that, like a piece of the flower, like a stem?
I would guess it's supposed to be a thorny stem. Yeah, I would guess.
Oh, I love
In
how I'm like sitting there. I can actually zoom in. Yeah, so the hand looks. I don't know that it looks like any specific part of the plant. That's a little odd, but it's organic, like a little red colored branch, and
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of diamonds on here. I think we can agree this is probably. Well, it's not necessarily a ladies' piece, but it probably might be. I don't know.
I like it. I do. I think it's cool. It's certainly more interesting than a lot of the spin time watches that I've seen. If you've got a lot of tattoos, it would look sweet. You know, a lot
I
of
mean,
traditional
it's
tattoos.
got fantastic character to it. I mean, and if you
Yeah.
are someone who a red rose means something to you and you can pull this watch off, more power to you. What do they want for this thing? 180 to 100,000? You know what? Go
Yeah,
for it.
they'll get it. They'll get it. With
And
that,
they're so generous for this 41 millimeter wide watch. In white gold, they will include 4 straps, 4 alligator straps. Can you believe that? Yes, 4
wowza.
straps. Thank you.
I'm there.
Only here. Maurice Lacroix, the Icon Mercury. So this is the watch that just came out, and the hands continue to look like scissors to me, like a barber's scissors. I just keep seeing
Yep.
I feel like someone's hair is about to be cut.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This watch is difficult to explain because the hands can decouple, they're on their own cam, and then they can recouple. That's basically the best way of explaining this watch. It is a watch you play with. It's like a fidget watch. It's like a parlor trick. I don't know how else to explain it. It's fun. It's got a little blue. They didn't do too much to it, but okay, moving on.
Yeah.
MB&F Lepe, please don't do a clock. Oh, they did a clock. Oh, it's
Hey,
okay.
it's cool.
Well,
I
it's
like it.
Tom and T-Rex, and okay, it's a clock. You know, here's the thing. I want a MB&F I can wear, and these clocks are cool looking. They're not watches, and they're so unbelievably loud you can't be in the room with them for too long. I mean, it is a mechanism, and there's no case around it, so you hear the ticking. You know, it's metal, so you hear it. So these things are really nice, but if you have it operating, well, then it's a loud thing. Okay, it's nice, it's lovely, it's a little sculpture, and it's cool. Mont Blanc, come on, impress me. 1858 split-second chronograph only watch. You know, the sad thing is this is a really nice watch with a really nice split-second chronograph movement. It's lovely, but Mont Blanc has just not been able to truly push the sort of Minerva factory stuff. And
you know, it's so frustrating because the movement is absolutely divine. You know, Minerva made some of the greatest
it's titanium.
chronographs.
If this was a Patek Philippe, it'd be like 4 times the price, at least.
Yeah, of course. But the problem is they haven't got, for some reason, they just haven't been able to capture that spirit. Like you say, it's boring to look at. The dial, as interesting as like the design of it is, for some reason doesn't capture or express what sits behind it in the right way.
This might be one of the better values. I don't know how it goes on auction day on November 19th or whatever it is, but the Mont Blanc one, that might be one of the values because that's a cool watch. Moritz Grossman,
Absolutely.
A Reserve de Marche classic.
I love this
brand. I love. This is nice. I'm not sure. Of course, it's a dial I've never seen before, but what else is new here?
Nothing really is new apart from the dial layout. I mean, the movement is the 100.2, I think, by them. And the Reserve de Marche is like a typical, like, large part of their core collection. Normally has Arabic numerals on the dial, from what I remember, but this one in this particularly attractive sort of sunray grey is nice. They've used the color correctly, you know, nice little flashes of it every 5 minutes.
They basically took a pocket watch dial, made it silver, put it in. It's elegant and nice. The logo looks like it's from 150 years ago.
I think they've done enough. I think they've done enough, and they've been smart with what they've done. They've made like a really, really wearable, very attractive watch, not messed around with a good formula. And yeah, for 30 to 50,000, given the retail of these things normally for a unique piece, I think this is one of the real standout pieces for the collection.
This is hilarious. So Patek Philippe does the Grandmaster chime, and the whole thing is it's in steel. So it's for every year I've ever seen a Patek Philippe in OnlyWatch, it's been titanium. They can't, for whatever reason, maybe they couldn't build the Grandmaster chime in titanium. I mean, you can do anything out of steel. So it's a Grandmaster chime with a, what is that, like a rosé champagne dial. Some people call it salmon. I hate calling it salmon.
Just call it salmon. It's a salmon.
I'm going with rosé.
Rosé champagne. That is
rosé champagne and a black
salmon.
dial on the other side. Look,
black dial.
It's a slick looking watch.
I mean, it is something, that's for sure. It's gonna catch someone's attention.
2 to 2.5 million. Thanks, Patek. Always very humble.
Oof, good lord. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of watch. It'll sell for that.
If you're like, man, if only they made an affordable version of the Grandmaster chime, in like a material like steel, because it's the gold that was holding it back, right?
Yeah, if only. If only.
You know what, Rob? I'm going to make you an offer. I'm going to sell you a Grandmaster chime in a less precious metal, but get this, for more money than the precious one. How do you feel about that deal? You like that?
Do you want me to play the role of a typical Patek customer? Because if so...
Just squeal with
Where do I sign?
You're going to sell me something? Now? Not 12
give you
years,
money.
right? Today, right?
I mean, that's a rare opportunity. That's worth 2 million in itself, so the extra 500,000 is small change. So, it's cool. It's, I personally would not wear it. I mean, that's assuming, of course, I'd have to pay for it in the process. If someone wanted to give it to me, yeah, of course, I'd put it in rotation with my collection of swatches. But it's not really, it's not Patek's finest.
It keeps you up at night. You know you love it. Piaget, Altiplano Ultimate Automatic. This is their very thin watch, which is now an automatic, so that's cool.
It is cool.
This is the 910p, and it is 4.3 millimeters thick in rose gold with a different shade of blue. Is that
It's a very tasty
rotor?
shade of blue.
Where's the rotor?
I guess it must be. That's what I'm looking at here. So the blue ring around the outside of the dial that has 910p print on it, for my money, has to be the peripheral rotor, because there's no recessed micro rotor there that I can see. So that's cool. I love peripheral rotors. I think they're an awesome feature. Well, goodness knows if that's what it is, but it appears to be from the press shot.
That's probably what it is. I mean, how wide does this watch here? This watch is 41 millimeters wide. Okay, so the 910p, I feel like this is a new movement. I feel like we haven't heard about this one yet. So maybe they're debuting a new movement. That's exciting. I think this will do well. It's lovely.
I really like how subtle like the movement of the peripheral rotor will be, because the only thing distinguishing it, giving it an anchor point, is the 910p print in itself. I think that's really, really nice. Yeah, one of my favorites so far, actually. I think from a daily perspective.
Sleeper hit there, huh? Rebellion, Revolt, OnlyWatch. Okay.
Well, they've certainly smashed out of the park on the blue, and that's probably
both shades. They're like, let's take the shade that OnlyWatch wanted in a different shade of blue, and let's just put them both in there. This is not one that I find, to my aesthetic taste, to be pleasing. I'm just not a giant fan of the Revolt. Okay, I guess moving on.
Mille. Hello.
Oh, Rob, you were there? Thought we lost
you. I'm here.
We just went by the Rebellion because I was not a big fan. It's fine, just don't like it. Richard Mille RM 1103 automatic flyback chronograph from McLaren. Oh, a Richard Mille at OnlyWatch? Well, that's good. I mean, I guess it's new because of the case colors.
Yeah.
Has there been an RM 1103 McLaren yet? Maybe there has been.
I mean, it sounds like something that I've seen before. It looks like something I've seen before, but maybe it's just
so hard to tell these days.
1103. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Honestly, I just wish this is the perfect time with that carbon TPT case. Why not make that blue and black? I mean, come on. Of all the watches, this one would have sold easily if it had been that baby blue. I don't know.
It's cool, but it's for McLaren. They want to do it with McLaren.
I mean, it's fine. I'm just shrugging. It's this is
the ARA 6919 OnlyWatch with their patented in-house 360-degree moon movement. What is that all about? It looks like an automatic rotor.
They have. I guess that it's because the moon phase is governed by a disc with what? No.
Is that the tiny rocket ship on the dial?
I think it is. I'm just sort of looking at it really closely. Near the date, you mean?
Yeah.
Is that a date wheel? No, that's not a date wheel. That's coordinates of something.
No, there's a date.
Yeah, I'm looking inside the date track. There's the numbers engraved on the dial around the outside.
That's for the moon phase. Oh, no, that's coordinates. I don't know. Why is that there?
Oh, maybe is that the lunar module that we're seeing?
I think that's Apollo 11.
So that's the coordinates of where it landed. Okay. So I would wager then that
for the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11. So basically, RJ wanted in on the action as well. Okay, I get it.
Surprise, surprise. Oh, I got a question for you. Just look at between 4 and 5. There's what looks to be like a second date window, but then the real date window's got to be at 3. What is this? What is this? What is this?
Oh my God, you're right.
Okay. I'm going to write this piece up. I'm going to find out more about it.
Wait a minute. Look at this. Look at this. Look at above 2. There's another window there.
No.
Is that just like a weird design thing?
If it is, I'm going to be very annoyed. This is not. If this is a triple date
That
Oh,
would be
right.
amazing. I love this stuff. We don't know what you're looking at. There may be some phantom date windows on this watch.
Right, so here's my guess for what 360 means. I reckon that moon phase complication is itself encircling the dial. So I think that the rocket ship's going to make, or the lunar module's going to make a full 360 rotation, because I don't think that like there's no 12 on this dial. I think it's underneath that disk, and it will reveal itself as it makes its way around the month. And maybe, just maybe, when the moon phase disk is covering the date at 3 o'clock, somehow these windows at 2 and 4 take over. You with me?
Maybe, yeah, yeah. That's
All
probably a
right,
big
that's my
part of it. I've
guess.
moved on. I'm looking at the Singer reimagined watch.
You've moved on. You've literally
I've
just given
moved
up and
on.
gone out for a
Yeah.
coffee.
No,
Well, I
look,
just
I mean, there's one of them, right? Singer reimagined, Singer track one only watch. Now, this is a handsome watch. If you look at the case, it's Damascus steel, and they worked
which,
with Gustafsson and Sjorgen.
oh
So,
really? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So this has, is it? I guess it's steel. It's a black Damascus case. It's made out of steel, obviously. It's got some ceramic on there as well for the bezel and some things like that. This is slick. Singer reimagined is it's a chronograph where time is told by discs. The track one, that is the Singer track one. Time is told by these discs on the outside. And you read it at 6 o'clock, and then the inner part of the dial is is a chronograph. So it's a central seconds, minutes, and hours chronograph. So this is really, it's a cool looking watch. It's comfortable. The watch has, it's a good, what do they want for this one? 45 to 55,000.
I mean, it's
Um
an awesome piece. It's a lot of money, but I mean, it's great, isn't it? It really is cool.
mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
It, oh,
it's great. I mean, look, you have Agenor making this movement for them. Agenor is some of the best at making things like that. So you have this cool case, you have this cool movement. I think this is a cool one. The Singer Reimagined Singer Track one, definitely one that's exciting. We have like 6 more to go. Speak
nearly there.
Marin London Chronograph Only Watch Edition. Now, we were talking about this earlier. Why do we think there's so many watches this year around? It seems to be like double the amount of 2 years ago. Why are so many brands participating in OnlyWatch?
Well, I mean, I think it's a fantastic way for brands to pick up the shortfall from a lack of marketing investment, because it gives them a platform which is buoyed by the presence of some really big brands like Patek or Audemars, and they can be present amongst them without having to shell out a dime. And when you're using a case that's been used many times before and popping a new dial in there, then it's a very small investment on a brand's part to get a wide amount of exposure. I think it's got something to do with it.
I don't know that the exposure is actually that wide. I think it's just like you said, it's seen as something. They're like, oh, it
Yeah.
doesn't cost anything, we'll do it. So it's kind of sad that so many are doing this because they know they're not doing anything else. They're like, oh well, at least we should do this.
Well, yeah, I guess that's it. They're looking for something that's more. Firstly, I think brands at the moment tend to be thinking first with their purse strings rather than with actual reach to people that would be interested in buying their watches. And yeah, for them, really all they have to do is create a product. And it has some good vibes around it as well. I mean, Only Watch, it's, people can approach it cynically if they want, but it's doing good work, and it is interesting, and it is something to get quite
Well,
excited about, I think.
it's Only Watch is the only of the auctions that I even respect editorially. So we get to be a little goofy about it because still there's things to laugh at. But at the end of the day, we're taking it very seriously as a platform to put out new designs there, things that they're interested in experimenting. I mean, there's a low risk of sort of like negative retort because they're not making that many of them. There's one, so they can always say, well, we're just made one. So they get to be experimental here a little bit. So it's interesting getting inside their minds a little bit. So look at this one. The Speak Marin London Chronograph Only Watch. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. It's just got a Valjean 92 movement in it. So it's the Piccadilly chronograph case with the Valjean 92 movement. It's made out of titanium. It's probably not the best rendition of the colors because it includes sort of a reddish orange in addition to the blue and the white and the black. So it's like one too many colors for my taste. But it does look like a nice instrument. But tell me, is the inclusion of the Valjean 92 just to satisfy like this kind of vague collective interest in vintage chronographs. I don't see any other reason why that movement is in this otherwise modern watch.
Yeah, it does seem a bit incongruous, but it isn't. I mean, I like it as a movement. I've got quite a lot of time for it. I think that it's altogether quite appropriately estimated at 18,000. I think it's about right. I mean, it has an upper limit of 30,000, which might be a stretch. For me,
these estimates don't mean anything. They routinely go over. You know what I mean? Or under.
yeah, routinely I would say they normally go over, don't
Do
they?
you know
But
who comes up with the estimate? I have a feeling the brands do. They're like, oh, what do you want to charge for this thing? It's like an MSRP. Look,
yeah.
someone's gonna like this watch, this Speak Marine London chronograph. Someone's gonna like it, and that's why I'm talking about. It's an interesting to see where the brand's mind is at, and sort of what they're trying to do. Okay, Trilobe. I was like Trilobite.
Yeah.
I don't even know this one.
Well, yeah. Funnily enough, we've never covered them before. I had to create a brand page for them this morning, and so first thing that popped into my head was that they've stolen the logo I used when I was training to be a watchmaker for my own brand. So I kind of like them and loathe them at the same time. But I really do like this fish. The little triangular. It's a corner of a rose window from like a cathedral.
Oh, those? Oh no, they can't take as a logo.
It was really tiny.
Look, the name of the brand, their logo, that literally looks like branding from software in the early 1990s. Like that is one of the least interesting brand logos I've
So
seen.
you love it. You love early software from the 90s. That's your thing.
Not on a watch.
Okay.
Or maybe.
Oh, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
I actually think it's pretty cool, this watch. I like it. I like the colorway. I think it reminds me of that.
Bronze or something? It's bronze.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I couldn't really work it out. Let's see what it says down here. Yeah, bronze. But what I like most about it is the color of the dial, like that sort of champagne off color, and then the rose is really nice.
It's fine. Look, here's the thing. They try to indicate time in a different way, and I appreciate that. I really do, but it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I'd wear this and love it. So what happens? These little roses move around. The discs move. The roses don't.
So okay, spot quiz. What time is it?
What time is it?
Tell me what time it is. Yeah.
It looks to be about 12:33, maybe. I don't know, 12:32. What would you think that is?
Yeah, that's close enough. I'd say 12:33, 12:34, and then 8 seconds past, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's actually like a bit easier to read than I initially thought when I looked at it. It looks like it's all over the place. The placement of the pointers for the hours and the minutes initially confused me. Because it looks a bit random.
I'm over it.
You're over it? Okay. Well, I like it. I think it's different.
So Tudor produced what looks like one of those Unimatics. That's great.
It's good to see they get inspiration from their peers. This one's going to sell for crazy amounts of money, isn't it? I mean, firstly, unique piece, open case back, quite unusual, very cool to look at. And what was the sale price of the last Black Bay? Like 325,000 or something?
Who knows? I don't remember. I don't care.
Anyway, the estimates.
Again, it's like what one crazy person with money does should not affect my opinion of what something is worth on a more, objective sense. Okay? Just because some person wants to spend a bunch of money on it doesn't mean other people should as well.
Fine. If this became a core model, say they close the case back up, which they're likely to do if they release something like this, and it was retailing around 4,500 US, that's great.
Okay.
That's a great model.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
as it is now, it's superb. I think it will absolutely fly. I think versus its estimate, which arbitrary as it may be, is an interesting way of tracking performance. It will probably outperform every other model in the sale versus its estimate.
Look, it's fine. It's trendy. It's a cool watch. I think it'll do well. Tudor black base ceramic. It's just an all black. It's like in their mind, it's like if we wanted to make an all black, version of the Hublot Big Bang, but we wanted to make a black bay, this is what it would look like. That's basically what it is. So the reason I'm not shocked is I've seen this look before. That's the thing.
Yeah, of
It's not
course.
original. It's not
No, it's
original.
not in the least bit original, but like every brand kind of has to do it at some point. Like, oh well, we have to tick the all black box. What haven't we done yet in the cliches of modern?
It just demonstrates what is not going on at a brand, maybe. Um,
True.
Ulysses Nardon, the Exoskeleton X. It had so much exo, it needed to have the word X in there twice.
Yeah,
Um, so we have here, what is going on here?
case is cool.
So we saw this watch, essentially this movement, and they've done all kinds of interesting stuff to it here. So we have a tourbillon, looks out of mostly silicone. We have a case that is new, has some very interesting detailing on there, especially in the lugs.
Yeah, super sweet lugs. Really nice.
I mean, you know what? I don't know if this is them experimenting with something, but this is really neat. The exoskeleton theme. I think this is
Yeah,
a really cool watch. 35 to 45,000. The case is produced in titanium. So there's two different colors of titanium because some of it is darker than the other. Red. I mean, it doesn't really go with the color theme, but this is a really cool watch.
yeah. I think this is more like the kind of thing that we would have expected to see for the OnlyWatch auction maybe 10 years ago. You know, this is a bit more like wild and experimental, and they're like flexible blades between the case and the lugs. So I don't know if it's designed to give a little bit of play in the watch that sits on the wrist, but if that's what they're there for, that's really really neat, and
Oh, I
I
see
like
what
it.
you mean. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It might just be decorative. It might have a functional value.
I have a feeling that it might actually flex, you know, a bit like the Batoon, like that kind of
Maybe,
hugging.
maybe.
Decent, yeah.
Voutilainen. Oh, that's
Carry, carry,
cool.
carry. Yeah, that,
TP1OW 2019. So it's a pocket watch with a cushion case
it's cute.
in titanium. It's cute. It's like if Nomos made an expensive pocket watch, it would be this.
Yeah, quite possibly. You know, I think it's quite successful. I mean, there's no doubt in the quality of it, and yeah, it's very neat, very
It's
neat,
cute. It's
smart.
cute. It feels like it feels very British. I don't know why. It's got like a British cutesiness to it. Maybe it's
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah,
you
it's.
know.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I like it. I like
It's
it. Fifty
nicely done.
thousand.
It's nicely done.
Good. It's good. Solid.
Oh, and the last one, we made it, Rob. We made it to the final watch for the
Hooray!
only watch. Zenith El Primero A386 only watch. Um, I don't even know what's new here. White gold.
Oh, you got your baby blue subdial
Oh,
right there.
lifetime warranty and service just for this one
Oh,
watch. For
sick.
this one watch, they will take care of it forever.
Handy, handy. Look, you know what? I mean, it's a great movement. It's a great base model. The modifications are subtle in keeping with the theme. It's obviously going to be, the tied to the Only Watch auction forever because of that 3 o'clock subdial. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't love that color, but I mean, if you like that color, then it's a really cool option because I mean, it's just a great solid watch to have in the collection, right?
Yeah, it's white gold, so it's, I guess, I don't think, maybe they make a few other in white gold, I'm not sure. It's got the different color subdial, like you said. Lifetime warranty.
Yep.
It's fine. Again, not the most creative of them. Okay, so we saw a little bit creativity, a lot of hope, a lot of participation,
A lot
and
of that.
and a lot of watches. A lot of watches. November 2019 is when the only watch auction is going to be. I'm look. I do get curious to see what the prices go for, but it's usually like what we talk about: the Mont Blanc, and the Ulysses Nardon and the Singer Reimagined. These are the ones I care more about because this is where you have actual collector behavior. The Tudor, the Patek Philippe. Let's be honest. Are the people buying these what we would call collectors? Collectors are looking for value. People like that are looking for status, are looking for investment. That's who's buying those things. And so you go to OnlyWatch and you're going to find a multitude of different interests. People like you and me who are watch lovers, who are not, funded just to buy whatever it is you want. We need to look to see where there's value at at less appreciation maybe, so that it's an area that you can go into and to develop. So that was our look. That was the only watch look by aBlogtoWatch. And we will cover this more on the website, and we'll see you later. Thank you so much for listening.